This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rajni Jain on behalf of agricultureinformation.com. I'd like to welcome you all to this online meeting. Please take a moment to review the guidelines for this online meeting posted in the chat window. I now request the moderator, Mr. Lakshmipati, to introduce the speaker and start the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rajini. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Lakshmipati and I will be moderating this meeting. Agricultureinformation.com likes to welcome to this meeting Mr. Mam Singh, the Principal Scientist at ICAR, Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi. Dr. Mam Singh will be speaking on the topic plug plant production in ornamental and flower crops. I now request the speaker to begin.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for introducing and having given the chance to speak to the audience on a very important topic of making plants. So making plants is a very familiar to the horticulturist, especially if the plants are made by seed or any propagated material. So if we see it's a little confusing, what do you mean by plug? So basically the plug is not an electricity plug, but a plug is a plant having a media ball intact, so that this the roots are safe even if the plant is displaced or taken out for transplanting, or they are carried to the transition. So these plugs are always intact in the media ball, and this medium supports not only the plant roots but also provide enough moisture during the transition or also before it is transplanted. So immediately after transplanting also, these plants continue to require the moisture which is already imbibed in the plugs. So the plugs are composed of growing media, and these growing media is contained in the containers or the trays or pro trays, we call them, having the small cavities. So as you see a plant, when it is prepared either by seed or by a plant part that can have a capacity to regenerate the roots, so the germination is taking place or the rooting is taking place, and the sprouting of the new shoots and new leaves is taking place. So after the sufficient establishment, say around 2 to 3 weeks time, this plant becomes transplantable. So if you see any plant growing by seed, so except cotyledons, 3 to 5 leaf stage is a optimal seedling stage. So this is a perfect seedling which we call plugs when we grow them in the pro trays. So this plug, even if regenerated by vegetative shoots or vegetative cuttings or vegetative part of the plants like leaf or any other plants like root cuttings or root tips, so this plant may take even more time, but this will also be ready for transplantable stage. So this would be called as plugs. So normally this high-tech nursery raising technology is coming with the numerous type of containers, their sizes, shapes, and to facilitate the roots. So, and more familiar are the round shape pro trays, where they have 2 to 5 centimeter square centimeter area, and also ranging from 49 to almost 800 cavities in those trays. So if you see, the plant is uh, uh, produced in this form can have the manifold advantages. So manifold advantages are the growing a seedling or a plug in itself, and because it's safe and the system is so that it is grown in the inert media, so it's healthy and safe. And also, as I told you, the roots are also already intact in the media ball, and this takes very less time to establish again, and it grows without any transplanting shock. And also it is hardy enough to survive even in the change of environments, because the root is the major part which is almost protected and established very fast, and they are very much suitable for planting in any type of system. uh, Planting density can also be maintained, and also if they can be manually transplanted, they can be mechanically transplanted even in the pots, and also in the beds using the transplanters or transplanting machines. So these all advantages, they favors this industry of plug plant production as a commercial one. So this is very viable in the countries like European countries, where the ambient climate is not at all suitable for longer period. And now in Asian countries we have the reverse climate, because it's a warmer and sometimes it's more than warm climate, it's a hot climate, and survival of the seedlings, bare rooted seedlings, is very difficult until they go to the fields and be transplanted. So it is can very well said that if the seedlings, they need to be protected against low temperature, at the same time the high temperature also be avoided. So therefore the plug plants, they are safe even when the soil moisture is low, because they already have that much moisture till the additional irrigation is given by drip or by flood or by any other means, so they can still survive in even after the transplanting. So that is the advantage of using plugs after growing them. And the commercial scale, the large number of quantity can be produced at a time. And the basics of plant production is, if the target is a seedling, uh, they can be variedly produced in the different type of proteins, having different sizes and cavities, and the number of seedlings, and also their stage of planting would decide what kind of container can be used, pro trays can be used. And as you see, the more common trays are the round ones. So, but not exactly round, but having the grooves in the corners, and also at 2 to 3 or 4 surfaces. So it gives roots enough space to travel inside the growing media. So the container size and shape is very important, because the seedlings, when they are seedlings before transplanting, the root and shoot ratio maintenance is very important. So in this technology, we the type of seeds, the habit of roots, and also the biomass produced in the per unit time will decide that if the seedling has to take place in the container or pro tray for say around 3 weeks to 1 month. So then we have to go the smaller size one, and if they can continue up to 2 or 3 months, sometimes 6 months, then we have to choose the larger size of pro trays or cavities, with trays with the cavities. So this is very important to note, that the some seedlings can be prepared in 18 days, 20 days time, and some will still go longer, say around 30-35 days. And many of them which have hardwood, they are hard to root, and they take longer time to sprout and turn into the 5 to 7 leaf stage. They may take sometimes 40 to 45 days. So depending on the time taken in the pro trays, the pro trays need to be decided. And now the root trainers are also coming up. If we have the seedlings, they will go more than 3 months, 4 months or 5 months time. Then we can go up to 5.5 inch or 6 inch, or sometimes like 8 to 16 centimeter deep root trainers, where we will allow them to root, go deeper, and having the stronger stem as well as roots before the transplanting. So in case of several ornamental plants where they are hard woody seedlings or saplings, they need to be grown for 3 to 6 months. We can still have a longer time in pro trays itself before they are displaced for the market or transplanting in the targeted uh, uh, area. So this is very important, that the seedling and the seed germination is according to the nature of seeds, that some seeds they take less time to germinate. So immediately after germination, not all seeds are capable to support the root system and also the plant growth. So we need to give them nutrition and the light, and also the maintenance of temperature, because some seedlings immediately after sprouting or germinating, they need a low temperature, some they need high temperature. So we have to be very sure that the seed requirement of the seed germination is what set of temperature. So normally we would like to know that the temperature being 20 plus minus 2 degrees is very good for maximum number of seeds to germinate, and the humidity which is ambient inside the greenhouse or the nursery structure, or where we are growing inside the protective structure, we need to have maintain the humidity 60 to 65%. So the humidity going beyond 65% will, if it is coupled by high temperature, then the seedling will lose their own water. And if the temperature is going low and humidity being very less, then again the desiccation of those seedlings would happen. At the same time, the moisture management is very important. If you will provide more moisture or more irrigation scheduling in the times when there is a high temperature, so plants will also lose their own water to avoid the heat. So not too much of water is also given, and less water is also not given, so that the physiological functions, they should be performed very precisely and for a longer period of time. So the light is a very crucial factor at this stage, in the nursery stage, where, because not all the plants, they are capable of making photosynthesis all the time. So there is a time when the UV rays are minimum and the component of red and blue light is maximum in the radiation, then the higher amount of photosynthesis is taking place. If the temperature is high, sunlight is too much, and day length is longer, then minimum photosynthesis will take place. So the care should be taken. There should be sufficient shading in the times of high light intensity, and also temperature. If there is a high temperature, so thermal screening need to be done to cut the radiation from the top, so that the maximum photosynthesis can take place. And beyond this, if we need to regulate the growth of seedlings in the initial stage, if we know that what is the time of supply of seedlings to the market or to the consumer or to the farmer or to the vendor, then we need to regulate the growth by using growth retardant. If the seedlings are not going faster, we can use the growth stimulators like NAA. We can use. We can also use GA3, and the growth can be faster. And also, if you want to retard the growth, and we know the schedule, we want to allow them less growing till if the supply time is maximum, we can still spray the malic hydrazide and other growth retardants, so that if you know that the seedling is growing but the rooting is slow, then we can use the IBA solution even with the drink sprinkling water, or also additional drenching we can do, or the boom can also be used for spraying the overhead water for maintenance of the root system as well. So sometimes the upper crown portion of the crown is growing faster as compared to the roots, so that time we need to retard the growth a bit, can be by suppressing a little irrigation, increasing a more temperature, and also using the growth retardant at a very precise concentration. So this can be a growth regulation, and which in turn decide the schedule of batches and supply to the market. So this is very important. If over the 10 months you can take 10 batches or 8 batches, so if you do not regulate your supply, your growing schedule, then you may lose one batch. Losing one batch of the seedlings can give you 10 to 15% loss. So this is very important, that making a schedule of batches will make your precise growing of seedlings and number of batches very fast in the system. So this is very important. At the same time, though it's grown in the protected structure, so the pest management and fungus from time to time, though the time is not very longer, and we are using the sterilized growing media, and the structure is also sterilized and sanitized before we start the schedule. And even if in the middle of the seedlings there are only two problems in the seedling stage, where we can see the incidence of red spider mite, even if the greenhouse nursery is in the warmer climate area. So this red spider mite is a common one, which comes very fast. And if you have a nursery in the areas like Bangalore, where the temperature lower side temperature stays too longer and the humidity becomes high, then white spider mite can come in. And also in the hilly areas where like Uttarakhand, Himachal and other zones are there, where you will see the white spider mite will be apparent. So using the perfect acaricide like abamectin would be the very best one. Oberon can also be used, and if there is a very less incidence of the mite, then you can use dicofol, phosmite and pomite. They are available in the market for use in the nursery. So this is very important to take care of the seedlings. And now the commercial trays are also available. So in India we are having much traditional ones and very cheap ones, but if a project is on trunky basis, so it's better. Sometimes we use the machine and robotic planting machines, then we should always go for the standard one where the mechanical operations can be taken care of. So all these containers are used as pro trays, are made by different companies, and also they're designed for mechanical planting of seedlings or cuttings in the pro trays. So these can also be available in the Indian markets, but on the pre-order basis. So if we see the shapes over the round one, they have advantages that the root system is more vigorous, more intense, and it's not intermingling one, and it is uniformly distributed in the plug seedlings. So this is very important to use the right kind of pro trays and the containers. So this is very important to use the growing media at the same time. So growing media, most common is coco peat. So coco peat is coming in the market in various grades. So decomposed one also is coming, and seasoned one also coming, and also the fortified is also coming. But you have to be very sure if the seedlings are grown for a small time, and so the inert media is the important one. If it's a longer time, you can also use plugs. If they need to be planted with the plugs, they can also be used to grow further beyond the pro trays. And the growing media, we use coco peat, perlite, vermiculite mixture. So if you see the coco peat 3:1:1 ratio, coco peat 3 ratio in 3 ratio, and perlite in 1 and vermiculite in 1 ratio. So it's by volume, it's not by weight. So as you see, the media here, growing media as coco peat, is a very crucial one. So the purpose of this is to hold and give the uniform spread of roots inside the media. Perlite is a very light rocky material, and it can absorb water and retain it for when the plant roots they require. And vermiculite has an advantage that if you mix it, so the flat gravels of vermiculite, they stop or they break the capillary movement of water in the growing media, so that the losses in evapotranspiration losses are very less. So saving water and also saving the seedlings from desiccation. So this is very important to use an additional layer of vermiculite even after the seedling have emerged. So just to break the capillary movement of water to avoid the water loss, and they are very generous to give a texture or a composition on the top of the seed of the plug, because it's not giving any hollow space. So as soon as you lift the seedling, so there will be no breakage of the media ball, but it will give a compact structure as the root will travel in a zigzag mode, and it will be uniformly distributed rather than intermingling and growing round and round around the plugs. So this is very important to use. So normally if you see the some times the fizzy plugs are also used, pots also used, or rock wool plugs are also used, and also 4x4 inch a peat moss container or rock wool container are also used. By adding the water, they will swell, and then gradually the roots distribution will be taken place. And even with a large media ball, those plants or saplings can be transplanted in the growing beds or growing trenches or in the greenhouses or even in the soil beds. So this is very important that purposely the growing media or growing media substrate can be used according to the crop requirement and the stage of the seedlings. Traditionally, you will find the growth hormone is used with the cuttings, and if the plants are propagated by cuttings, so there are large number of plants, ornamental plants, where they are cultivated after cuttings, using the cuttings. So normally terminal cuttings they are used. Some plants the root cuttings are used, but the pro tray and the trays are used. They are very common. So uh, but root trainer we can use as a second stage for ornamental plants. But the first stage, if we use pro trays, 1 square inch pro tray of cells, then we will be confined to know that the root, what is the root development. So in some cuttings where the root development is very slow, we can use the additional growth hormone IBA. So in some crops which they are softwood plants, we can use 50 to 75 ppm concentration, and if they are hard to root, we can go up to 1000 ppm. So if they are extra woody or they have like dormant stems, then we can still use up to 3000 ppm of IBA to facilitate the fast rooting and the development of roots. So this is very important to know the requirement of the vegetatively propagated cuttings and their nature of growth, So you can also use the pots and also trays to propagate them. So this is up to you that what stage you finally you need to grow the plant, and this is also one process. So now this technology has been very much advanced in the countries like Europe and US, where it is the mechanical. So a machine can facilitate the planting very fast. So a single machine can operate and give the output up to 5 to 6 people. So it depends on the scale of planting or making plants. So for self-rooting plants. So this is again a very crucial that it depends on the investment capacity and also the volume of work, where it can be so your tray can be suitable and your the system can be suitable, and these tray after planting by robots, they can still go to the greenhouse on conveyor belts. So this is again a suitability where a uh, uh, the only cuttings are going, and the robots, they select those cuttings and plant them in the trays, and trays can be moved automatically in conveyor belt to the greenhouse or polyhouse. So if you see, the small robots are also coming, that exactly they will identify the suits and the stage. If they are not fit, they will leave it. So because they are the sensor equipped one, and they can make almost as compared to the man, they can work efficiently 50 to 100 times more efficient. So, and also if you say the quality, because they reject the bad ones, man even can select the bad ones, but the machine cannot select the bad ones. And finally, if those plugs are ready, they can be planted for the cropping. So this the ease of transplanting is very important here. So the plant raised in the plugs, they are, after some time they become part of the growing system, and the roots, they go out of this plug, and they starts growing very happily. So this is one that if we grow the bare rooted seedlings, they are not very easy to establish, but the plant growing in the plugs, they can very well establish, and then the growing system finally can be so faster. So you can imagine a crop which is flowering almost taking 120-25 days, that can be harvested in 75 or 80 days time. So saving almost 1 month time in a crop schedule is very important. So it's very paying also. So making the fast system fast, it is very important to grow the precise plug plants suitable for cropping, final cropping, and this can be a very good one. So making plants is not that easy task. So as I said, the root to shoot volume is also very important to correlate with the final yield. So we have done our own experiments even using the hydrogel, but the concentration of hydrogel is very important, where the concentration of hydrogel was maximum or more than required. So we have seen uh, the concentration which was more as compared to the this one. So this and you can see the root volume is very high, but the growth is not that high. So at certain point of time, the gel takes back the water which is available for the plants, and the plants, they are struggling for the water, but the hydrogel is not able to release that water. So maybe at certain point of time when the moisture is too low, so hydrogel will take the water which is even available for the plants back, and the plants will not get enough. So then the root shoot ratio will be so. uh, this is again very important to note. If the roots uh, having moisture very near, so they will not tend to grow. So if the moisture stress is there and the water is less, so the root also grow. But you have to be very sure what should be the ratio of having the hydrogel mix in the growing media, so that it should not affect the root and shoot ratio at the same time. So this is one very important which we have observed. So these applications though are commercially viable, very viable, commercially viable, when we need to know that the height, even when we use the plugs and trays, the ambient temperature is very high. So very high means it's more than 45 degrees. Sometimes 42 to 45 degrees temperature stays 1 to 2 months almost. And there is no possibility to bring down the temperature less than 32 degrees. So 32 degrees means the root development is almost nil. So whatever the root development takes place, it takes place between 20 to 28 degrees centigrade temperature. So if the temperature is going more, so the either the rooting of the plant is very slow, it will take very long time, and or they will not give any roots even after spraying the IBA or drenching them in the IBA or putting any growth hormone which is already available in the market as Rutex number 1, 2, 3, like that. So this it does not work even when the temperature is very high, because the trays are very open in the air, and they are subjected to the high temperature in the ambient conditions. So therefore we need to know at what kind of temperature or what time of rooting is there. So if we need any growth hormone which stimulate the growth of shoots as well as the root system, then GA3 have been very useful in the times when there is a high temperature and we need a fast rooting in the cuttings. So this is very important. Now as we said, the industry is going very fast. So when you have to supply a large number of seedlings, then you need to go for highly sophisticated machines also for planting the seeds. So pneumatic seeders are available in the market. So they are very simple also, and they are very high capacity also. So if we see the pneumatic seeders, they are available. So depending on the requirement, one may buy the pneumatic seeders, and they're very precise. There is no loss of extra seeds, so only the precise number of seeds would go into cavity, and then the machine will also spread the growing media at the same time, and seed would be sown, and the trays would be going and stacked in the nursery polyhouse or in the growing structure. So this is very important that the using machine for higher efficiency is must. So after the nursery seedlings are there, so if they are plugs, so normally people they pack in the open sleeves. So open sleeve means if they are transported in the longer distance, so their plugs are intermixed, and then they become after some time the bare rooted seedlings. So till the time they reach for transplanting, so they become bare rooted seedlings, and they will not have any big advantage. So using the this corrugated fiber boxes, CFB boxes, is very important, where and also the number of seedlings intact in the box is very important, so that they should not go for the transportation shock, or they should not be devoid of any aeration or oxygen, or also they should not evaporate their own moisture to spoil the leaves and other parts of the seedlings. So the care should be taken that the transportation rather than in sleeves. So we see largely 90% people they pack in the sleeves and then they transport. But if the trays cannot be packed in the boxes, pro trays cannot be packed in the boxes, so now the big giants they are packing their pro trays in the boxes itself, and then they are transporting. But even this cannot be done. So the less number of seedlings in the boxes, or they may be separated by the linings and then can be transported without any damage. So this is very important to note, that after growing the healthy seedlings, they need to be transported in a healthy condition, so that the finally farmer or consumer can get the good seedlings from them. So then fertigation is very important. So of course, in the nursery stage, so fertigation system is very commercialized one. So it depends on the crop, and now it is available. Imported bags are also available. Largely they come from US, Europe, and Canada, and they are used in the high-tech system where the sprinklers, the booms, and these irrigation modules are used. So all fertilizers, they come separately, and they can be, their dose can be monitored, and because they are the mixture made already uh, and their with the prescription on the boxes, and as per the crops, so they can be used nowadays, and people are using, those who are doing on the large scale. So this is very important at the same time. And if we see the nutritional requirement of the plugs, so it's nevertheless the same. If it's the nitrogen, so the supply of the nitrogen between 120 to 135 ppm on the in the soluble water, it goes every time. So it the sustenance of the nitrogen is very important. So when the growth is fast, or they are elongating more, then the nitrogen fertigation can be stopped. Otherwise, phosphorus and potassium, if we see the phosphorus 80 to 90 ppm, and potassium like 60 to 70 ppm, that can also be regulated at the same time. So this dose, if we see the age of plants, ornamental plants, which are as I spoke just, that they can be 3 to 6 months in the same pro tray or same container, and sometimes they can be 1 year in the same root trainer or pots where they have been planted. So their requirement can becomes 4 to 5 times in the solution. So that has to be taken care of, that the growth control is very important, and that's why we see the compact plants. Growth control means compact plant. So if the plant is a compact plant, it look like the same plant, it doesn't, its shape and size, and also the nature is not distorted, so certainly the market will prefer to buy it. So this is very important nowadays. So as I said in the beginning, that the vernalization is very important, not only in the germination of the seeds or sprouting of the cuttings or vegetative parts, but also in the growth stage. So vernalization is very important. So if you want them to grow slow, compact, then you have to control the temperature and also the light, available light. So it depends on the nature of plants. If they're not being controlled, sometimes that some plants are day neutral, some plants are short day plants, some plants are long day plants. So if we say short day plants are, they need long days for growth and short days for flowering. If we say long days plants, they want short days for growth or to complete their chilling requirement of vernalization, and as soon as the longer days are there, temperature rises, then they come into the flower. So this is very important to note, that the specific requirement of the plants, as they are sensitive to light and to temperature, so they can be grown in a system, and the growth can be controlled accordingly. So if we see that nothing is possible like day neutral plants, we have to go for growth control. So this is very important to use some growth hormones, but the stage specific control is very important. So if the plant has already become taller, then you spray the growth retardant, then there is no use of it. So this is very important to use what it should be the optimum stage of growing. So we need to grow the plant very smart. So the business is, if you grow a smart plant, then you have a good business out of it. So several experiments have already done, and the research they know now, and the commercial applicability of these plug plants as a final growing plants. As I said, the benefit of those plug plants is that the suitability of planting them in a commercial system, where a plant that can naturally be sold after 120 or 125 days, sometimes 150 days, they can still be ready in 80 to 85 days time. So you can save almost one third time by growing the plants in this way to the final market. So this is very important also to use three factors: the temperature, the light, and also the chemical growth regulation. So this is very important to note, that if your seedling or plugs are healthy, then your crop is also healthy. So this is very important that the light is being used for a quality plant propagation, and also its growth. So light is what? Light is energy, and light is also a growth hormone. So this is very important in the future times to come, that light is the potential where the light harvesting would be done, where the light applications will regulate the cropping system, and this would also be possible in the future times, that the crop span can also be reduced to half or even less than half. So this is very important even in the plug plants, that we faster wants to make the schedule of growing plugs, we have to use the light, and also along with the temperature and the other variants, so that we go for protected cultivation. And without protected structures, raising plug plant, and without high technology, raising plug plants would never be possible to the quality standards. So this is all. If you have any queries, so thank you very much for patient hearing, patient listening, and I hope if there are queries, you are most welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Mam Singh, for a detailed presentation. I now request the participants to ask their questions. We'll also be posting the speaker's contact details in the chat window. Now over to the participants. The first question who would like to ask, please? Who is having the first question to ask? Chandrajit Raul, you have any question? Yes, Mr. Ajit Chaugle, you have a question to ask. Mr. Ajit Chaugle? No? Mr. Chandrajit Raul? Deepika Sharma? Mr. Izuddin?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Mr. Brito? Yeah, Mr. Chandrajit, please go ahead.
Yeah. Now I just want to ask you one thing. How do we want to begin from the scratch? So how do we go about it?
You want to begin with?
We have a farmland, and we want to
Yeah.
we want to start from scratch one. So we have water and land and everything.
Yes, you want to go for making plants or saplings.
Yes, growing the
Yeah.
plants
So,
in a
sir,
nursery.
and what is the location, your location?
It's a Gujarat.
Okay, your Gujarat, and if you want to start it in the open without using any structure,
I can build the structure like greenhouse.
okay, if you can build the structure, there is nothing better than this. And if you have the temperature less than 35 degrees, this would be the very good climate for you. So you can start from now there are low cost pro trays also. So
Okay.
your climate in Gujarat, if it is mild one for temperature, you can also use shading nets. So for plant propagation, you can start.
Excuse
Yeah.
me, the summer is very, very hot here, but the greenhouse would protect it.
Okay, sir. If you can have the capacity to invest some money and you can make a greenhouse of say half an acre area, so it would be
Okay.
very great. So if it is high temperature, so you can use the ground floor itself for putting the trays and seed and putting in with the seeds and also with the cuttings. So whenever you have a good climate, like good temperature months, then you can do the cuttings. If you
Okay.
have still high temperature, you can grow seedlings with the seeds. And in
Okay.
entire rainy season, you can propagate any foliage ornamental plants. So
Okay.
then you will have the three different type of stocks in the stock in your polyhouse.
Yes.
So and also seasonal requirement, they will be different. If you will start the ornamental foliage, so they will have a year round market. If you will do by
Right.
seeds, then there is a occasional market, like very season specific. If you will go with the cuttings, then you will still have a longer period of time for your marketing your seedlings. So that would be great. So but you would be suggested that you start on the ground floor itself and put a layer of one 6 inch layer of fine and coarse sand.
Okay.
Okay, so coarse sand means it should be the pure sand, and
Okay.
the upper surface should be the very finer one, so that the water will go inside this layer. It will not
Okay.
stagnate in the area, and it will give the cooling effect in summer.
Okay.
And your pro trays can be put like raising 4 to 6 inch higher beds, 1 meter wide beds on the ground, and the rest traveling path of half-meter you can live in between inside the greenhouse or polyhouse.
Okay. Um, hello. Uh, Can
Yes,
I
Mr.
contact
Chan.
you? Can I contact you for further assistance on your email, please?
Yes, sir. My email is already given on each and every slide. You can note it from here. You can write in my email as well, and
Okay.
my WhatsApp number is also circulated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I need to know so many other things like what kind of
You
plants I have to
most
select.
welcome, sir. Most welcome. You can be connected on my WhatsApp anytime.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your
Thank you,
Welcome, sir.
Mr.
information.
Brito. Now, Brito has a question. Mr. Brito?
Thank you, Mr. Lakshmipati. Thank you, Dr.
Welcome.
Mam Singh, for a very beautiful presentation.
Welcome,
I
sir.
would like to know from you what is the formula for depth of sowing of the seedlings, one thing. And secondly, your automatic machines, are they available in India? If so, what is the cost range for a small one, for a small grower, as well as for a large entrepreneur? Thank you.
Yes, sir. The depth of the seeds is important, as the size of the seed is important. If you have a very small size seed, then the depth is very less, say half centimeter. And if you have a bold seed, then it can go 1.5 centimeter. So in between you can adjust according to the seed. And as you have inquired for the pneumatic seeders for sowing the trays, so now this machine, very handy machine, is available. It's of table size machine. So if you see, there is a normal table which is 2.5 by 3 feet size. So this size machine is already available, and this size machine is only for 56,000 rupees. So of course this is a manual one, but you can plant like more than 200 trays every day. One person can plant more than 200 trays per day. And if you go for electronic ones, so it is around 1.5 lakh rupees, but it can plant 1000 trays per day. So it depends on your user. If you want to use it for a casual purpose or very less volume, then you can buy the manual one.
Okay, thank you. And where is it available? Who is the best manufacturer?
Sir, you can connect to on my WhatsApp. I will send you the details.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Brito. What about Mr. Yadu Prasad Sharma? You have any question? Or Mr. Ravindra Kumar Jeena? Mr. Izuddin? Okay, let me look for questions from the chat window.
Sir, shall I ask one question?
Yes, Mr. Ajit Chowgule.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
You have anything to ask?
Mam Singh. Hello, Singh sir. I want to ask whether this technology can be used for making the seedlings of that sugar cane or only ornamental plants.
Yes, sir. You can use the root trainers. There
Okay,
are root trainers available in the market, and you can use the same media.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Now
Thank
you know
you.
the even bamboo seedlings, sugarcane seedlings, and Napier grass seedlings are being used in the root trainers using the
Root
same
trainer.
media.
I see.
Sir, they are also plugs, but they are a little deep, 5 to 6 inch deep.
Okay, it is a root trainer.
Yeah, we call them root trainer because their depth is very high.
It's a safety area. And is it whether it can be done with the same machine as you suggested, manual one, the table type machine?
Sir, this machine is designed for pro tray, not for root trainers.
I see. That is a different machine.
Yeah, that's a different machine.
Whether that is available in India?
Yeah, for pro trays, machines are available in India.
Okay, sir. Anyhow, just I will get in touch with you after the meeting, sir. No problem.
Yeah, please.
Rather than because some other participants, they must be interested in asking questions, sir.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. And looks like there are no more questions. We have completed the question round. I like to thank Dr. Mam Singh on behalf of Agriculture Information for taking his time to speak with us. I now request the organizer of the meeting, Ms. Rajini Jain, to please close the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Lakshmipati.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Lakshmipati. I like to thank the speaker, Dr. Mam Singh, for taking the time to talk with us. I also like to thank all the participants for their time. The meeting will now be closed.